Hi, Nick.
Hi, Kounal.
So, Nick, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, thank you. It's summer here in the UK. It's the 1st of July, and the sun is shining. It's all good.
So wonderful to hear that. First of all, thank you so much for accepting our invite for this show. It's really my honor to interview someone of your stature, and thank you so much for accepting the invite, first of all.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's really good to meet you at the conference in London last month. So it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So I would like to quickly introduce Nick before we can ask his journey, know more about his life, know more about his story. So Nick is the executive director for BNI in Berkshire, and he's a regional director for corporate connections. He's married with two grown-up children and likes karate. Wow, playing the piano and walking across the Lake District. Great, wonderful. So that's an amazing write-up about you, Nick. And apparently, someone who knows karate, I'm interviewing for the first time. So half of me is scared that okay, I might have to put this podcast at the right platforms, else Nick will book a flight to Delhi tomorrow and start practicing on me.
No, it's not like that. It's not like that.
So which belt are you, Nick?
I am a 5th Dan black belt.
Fifth time black belt. Wow.
Yeah, and yeah.
I used to be a yellow stripe maybe 20 years back.
That's good. That's good. It's better than having.
I did try my hands on karate, but apparently I became a boxing bag for a lot of people, and that's when I realized, okay, karate is not the thing for me. But so good to know that you are such an expert in karate.
I just love it. It's I teach now mainly. I've got a good club, and it's great seeing that particularly the children just develop.
Wonderful. So, Nick, I've heard a lot about your background, about your journey, but now I would want everyone to also know about how you started your journey, because everyone has a has a story behind where they reached, wherever they are right now. But apparently, you have something different to share. So, tell me more about how you started your journey. What were your early days? How did they look like? What was your struggle? We are so curious to know that.
Okay. So I went to university and I did business studies, and then I think I did what a lot of people do, which is I just took the first job that was offered me that was what I wanted to do, which was marketing.
Right.
So I had to move not quite to the other side of the country, but about 5 hours away from my parents, which in the UK is a big distance. Okay.
Right.
And I just at the time the way in which success was defined was that you would have a good job in a good company, and it was very that was what was kind of ingrained in my head, partly from my parents, I suppose, and my upbringing, and partly from university. And I now, of course, have realised that the world's a much bigger place than that. But my second and third jobs were with BT, the national telecoms operator in the UK.
British Telecom, right?
Yeah, British Telecom, yeah.
Yeah, they are our client as well.
So I was doing marketing work and launching products with them and things like that. And it was very, I was probably very constrained in my thinking, but I didn't appreciate that at the time. I was just always after like the next role, the next job, the next promotion, and and so on.
Right. So, so what were your top three lessons that you derived from your early days, which you would want the newbies, people who are starting their careers, to really learn and implement from your experiences?
I think there's one lesson from early days that is still very relevant to me. I'm 62 now, so this is going back 35 years. And
Wow.
I'd once designed a I'd once designed a brochure for a new product, and I had a map of the UK, and then I had in some major cities, and we were going to be connecting the cities and everything else. So there was lots of lines going and joining all these cities, and it was very well designed. And then I took it to my boss, who was the marketing director, and he looked at it, and then he just gave it back to me, and he said, "What's missing?" And I said, I thought it was a really good map. I thought it really showed the products that we were doing and how it connected, you know, up with the whole country. And I said, "I don't know." And I always remember, I remember standing in his office, and he said to me, he said, "There's one thing missing," he said, "and that's people." And then he said to me 4 words that I remember to this day. And he said, "Business is about people." And I think with all the talk that we have about, you know, IT and social media and everything else, and we've all got our goals and our plans and everything else, and it's very easy to forget that, because right now it's, you know, I'm talking to you, we're a person talking to a person, right? Business is about people, and I think to learn what's often called those softer skills, I think sometimes it's been a little bit it's not as positive to say that someone has softer skills. Sometimes it's perceived to be like a bit weak, or a bit, you know, not quite as good as hard skills. But actually the softer skills, if I could go back in my career, the thing that I would develop from day one, it would be those softer skills, because business is about people. And that's probably the biggest thing I learned in that early stage of my career. Another thing is just like enjoy it. So you want to work hard, but you want to work hard so that you can enjoy it. If you're working hard and not enjoying it, there's something wrong, and something needs to change. Maybe you need to change, maybe the job needs to change, maybe the way in which you're working needs to change, but work hard. And the third thing for me as well is always about seeing the bigger picture. My wife and I, we had some bad news on Friday last week about her mother. And these things are like a phase that you go through, you know, there's always phases. Always take a step back and just say, well, look, if I'm doing this and this is this, then maybe there's opportunities over here, or maybe there's ways of helping someone over there. But don't, you know, when we work hard, we're really focused and going for it. And that's like a lesson I've learned from karate and the martial arts. You know, it's like focus, but also it's seeing the bigger picture. Because if you talk to people who are successful in business, not necessarily the ones that are just earning lots of money, but who are very happy with where they are, they're often very, they're like holistic people. They can see the bigger picture of what's going on. Correct. So they would be my 3 things. It's about people, it's about working hard because you want to enjoy it, and it's about seeing the big picture.
These are such valuable experiences, such priceless experiences. These lessons, apparently, people who learn after years and years of struggle, if they really imbibe at this point of time when they're in their early 20s, they would save so many years of their life, and apparently they would become so better close to their goals where they really want to reach. So thank you so much, Nick, first of all, for sharing this priceless learnings. And apparently, the viewers of the Ask Henry show would definitely get immense value from your podcast. So thank you so much, Nick, first of all, for sharing.
Pleasure.
Wonderful. So Nick, now, did you have any transition in your career, or did your career was in the same field, same job? So like, how did your journey look like in terms of maybe turns?
Lots of turns, some big turns, pretty much everything. So I don't know if it's a UK thing, but we have in the UK a saying about having a midlife crisis, and okay. It's often attributed to when you're in your sort of round about 40. And for me, it happened exactly when I was 40, because I was sales and marketing director of a telecoms company. And I reported into the MD. The MD reported into the board, and I was on the board. And then, and I'd always wanted to be sales and marketing director, because I thought this is going to be great, you know. And I understand sales, I understand marketing. And then the guy who ran the board was the chairman, and he would never give me any money to spend on any marketing activity. And every board meeting, it was like, well, why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? And it's like, well, because I haven't got any money. I can't just conjure things up. So this this went on for like a year, 18 months. And I was thinking, you know, this is completely stupid. So I just decided it wasn't for me. So that was
Wow.
my midlife crisis. That was a real turning point. And then what I did after that was, within a year, I was a complementary health therapist working out of my dining room.
Nice.
And
What a change. What a change.
I was realizing that life's about people. I was working very hard and enjoying it, and I was seeing the big picture of my life.
Hmm. So apparently, this is this turn in your life which made you learn a very important lesson of your life. I would say three lessons of your life.
What that happened after that, you mean, as well?
Yeah.
You mean three lessons I've learned since then?
Yeah. Apparently, you got a revision of your lessons.
Yeah. So the three things that I've learned since then, I would say the first one is about following your heart. So
Okay.
on the basis of it, I did something that was very, very different. You know, I went from being a sales and marketing director, nice car and all that, to not very much money, working at my dining room on my own. But actually, it was just right for me. So I've always followed my heart in life and in business. I think that's important. Another thing, if I could go back in time, but something that I've really learned a lot in the last just sort of 5 or 6 years, is really about values. And there are, anyone who's watching this, you can get a list of values on the internet. And my advice would be go through it and just pick out your top 5, because I have run sessions on this. And when you find people who share similar values, the connection between them is so strong.
Hmm.
My guess is, Kounal, me and you seem to get on fine. And my guess is if we listed our top 5 or maybe 8 values, that 2 or 3 or 4 of them would probably be the same things. And the exercise that I've done, the values for me, and the nice thing about this is all positive. There's no negative stuff here. Okay, because someone might say like, my values are hard work, or my values are customer satisfaction, although these are more personal than business. But for me, it's about honesty. It's about authentic people who are just what they say they are, no front. It's about honesty, authenticity. Loyalty is a big one for me. Compassion and happy. And when I meet people who I don't know, and let's say somehow it works out in the future that we perhaps compare our values, if I've really got on with them, I guarantee that we will share values. So that the importance of values is just immense, because all values are things that we say are important to us. So I would say follow your heart. I would say be aware of your values, because business is about people. And the other thing I would do is I am a giver. I will always give to people before they give to me. And I'm not simply waiting for anything back, but I'm probably waiting for something to happen. Maybe it's just an acknowledgement. Maybe it's them saying that they've helped someone else, because then that might mean that we share similar values. So that would be my third one, would be just to give a little bit of yourself before other people do, and then see what happens.
Wow. Uh, Even givers gain this concept, which
Yeah.
I learned during my BNI days, was life transforming for me as well. Right? It changes the way you look at networking. It changes the way you even serve your customers, serve your employees, serve the societies, even like the people whom you meet around. In fact, whatever you do, whether it be socially or professionally, this givers gain mindset I've seen has really given me a lot of benefits, right? So, so yeah, even in fact, even in a lot of spiritual books, I have experienced this concept only been written. And when I'm reading such spiritual books, I was like, this is it. This is givers gain. They're teaching givers gain. I know that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, this is so very nice thing. So Nick, while you're busy managing CC, BNI, and I'm sure maybe karate and a lot of different things, how do you manage your family life and your professional life?
Um, I think from what I've said, it's one of the things is like seeing the big picture and seeing where everything fits in, and it is about values and also priorities. So for me, that list of values for me, there's one thing that's kind of above that, which is family. So I've just become a granddad, so I'll often
Wow,
have.
many congratulations.
Thank you. You know, if it's a couple of hours in the week, I might just go and see my granddaughter, and it's about. I think part of the secret, and again, this comes from karate, but it's about focus. So when I'm doing something, I'm going to do it well. I'm not necessarily going to rush it, because that's a false economy on your time. So it's about really focusing on something, and then just having this laser approach to saying, this is what I do, and then you do that, and then just stop, and then you can just look around, you see the big picture, and then you pick the next thing, and then the next thing. So I think focus is a massive thing, because otherwise you're just doing everything all the time, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, you just end up not feeling that satisfaction of doing something, because of lack of focus. You just end up just going in every direction and doing nothing, literally.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't control myself from saying that in India a grandfather is called a Dadaji, right? So Dadaji. So it's like many congratulations, Mr. Nick Dadaji.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Great. Wonderful. Like, it was so very nice talking to you. I am very grateful to you for giving such valuable time in the middle of the day, on the start of the week, for this podcast. So it was a pleasure talking to you, pleasure hosting you. We got a lot of learnings from you, and wishing you all the very best for your life ahead, Nick.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you, Kounal.
Yeah. Take care, Nick. Bye.
Thank you.